Hi, I'm Jennifer Webb. Just kidding. Hello children, today I'll be talking about the makeup and the special effects, yes? To start off, history has shown us that many forms of makeup and cosmetics have been used, from ancient Egyptian women using um, burnt almonds, coppers, leads, and oxides for eye makeup, chalk for face whitening and grease, all the way to barley flour and butter to cover up pimples in Rome, along with even some men dyeing their hair blonde. The first biggest change was with father of modern day makeup, Max Factor. Now, Max Factor was a makeup artist and wig maker who moved to America from Poland. He created flexible grease paint that was used for our definition of extreme highlighting and contouring, but when transferred to black and white film, it would have looked quite natural and flawless. With the innovation of Technicolor film, though, it was again Max Factor who created the world's first flesh color sheer makeup for film, which is today's equivalent to foundation and concealer. Actresses wanted to look this glamorous all the time, so they actually stole products and took them home with them. Women, and probably some men, I don't know, so craved to be as glamorous as their favorite Hollywood stars that it was actually one of Max Factor's sons who convinced him to release it to the public and actually coin the word makeup, which was just used for film in the 1920s. Max Factor had many other ideas, like this contraption called the Beauty Micrometer, which let Max Factor kind of determine which features of the face to accentuate and eliminate, but some of his big innovations will always be foundation, setting powder, and even mascara. Max Factor believed all women were born beautiful, but glamour needs to be created, and can be achieved given the right tools. And that, children, is how makeup got from the big screen into the homes, purses, and the front pocket of almost every teenage girl's backpack. Makeup has widely advanced since 1920, obviously, depending on a huge global and social network to thrive. Even though makeup for film has been pretty common since the creation of film, it continues to evolve as collective learning brings new ideas. New films, especially the Universal monster movies, called for a very specific kind of makeup using 3D prosthetics and other materials to alter the human appearance in ways formerly not possible. Iconic monsters such as Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, the Invisible Man, the Bride of Frankenstein, the Wolf Man, Phantom of the Opera, and the Creature of the Black Lagoon were all the first to truly showcase special effects. Films like Phantom of the Opera, Frankenstein, and Creature from the Black Lagoon are especially unique. For instance, the makeup artist for Frankenstein was very unceremoniously fired because it took him up to 6 hours a day to do this relatively simple makeup from scratch because they didn't have the modern kind of technologies that we have today. The Phantom of the Opera was very devoted. He was one of the very few actors in this time frame and just in modern day to do his own makeup. He put his body through a lot. He even went as far as to put metal wire up his nose to create that upturned effect, which looks cool, but it would cause him to frequently get bloody noses throughout shooting. And then we have this thing, the Creature from the Black Lagoon. The model was put into a lightweight but very constricting foam rubber suit that had to be hosed down every once in a while, or else the actor would have overheated and probably died, which is very ghetto compared to modern day techniques. And speaking of modern day techniques, we have Jack Pierce, Dick Smith, and Rick Baker, which are just a few standouts from all these influential artists in special effects history. Jack Pierce did most of the makeups from the Universal films, but it was Dick Smith who single-handedly created and concocted almost every method of special effects considered industry standards today. His most famous works would include The Godfather and The Exorcist. His apprentice Rick Baker, right over here, has by himself created this huge legacy from what he learned from Dick Smith and what he's learned over the years. He's been doing this for quite a while, since he was 15, 14, and has an extensive line of iconic makeups such as Harry and the Hendersons, I lost my place, Harry and the Hendersons, Planet of the Apes, Men in Black, The Nutty Professor, American Wolf in London, Michael Jackson's Thriller, and most recently Disney's Maleficent. The disciplines that I connect to makeup are not just makeup artists, obviously, but miners, packaging manufacturers, actors, estheticians. Makeup also works very closely with film directors and editors, and I think it's called cinematography, I'm not quite sure, and photo editors and graphic designers. But realistically, every special effects makeup artist is a sculptor, a mold maker, a painter, even a mathematician. With a lot of kind of weight conversions and ratios they have to nail, or else nothing will work out properly. And chemists, because we work with toxic chemicals and then put it on people's faces. In all seriousness, makeup does depend very heavily on chemistry for obvious reasons, with elements and other stuffs. But every makeup company, small to big, will have a chemistry lab where they create and they test their makeup products, and they'll send it to a manufacturer where it's manufactured and sent out to the world. My thresholds are 3 because makeup is very chemical heavy, especially with titanium and oxygen, which creates titanium oxide, which is a commonly used pigment, along with other oxides and elements. Threshold 4 because if these elements were not put here on Earth, then we wouldn't have the means or the necessary ingredients to create the actual makeup and the packaging and all sorts of other stuff. Threshold 5 because materials like synthetic liquid latex, which is very important to special effects, are derived from the white protective fluid in trees and plants, and all natural makeup brushes are typically made from horse and goat hair. I can also connect makeup to collective learning in the modern revolution, because without them, makeup and special effects wouldn't have been created, or at least wouldn't have evolved into the huge industry that it is today. I also want to connect it to Threshold 9. TV series like Sci-Fi's Face Off create a new big-name movie magic a few times a year, and with every new generation of makeup artists brings a huge possibility of growth and evolution and change with collective learning.